जय श्री माता जी। हम सब श्री माता जी के श्री चरणों में प्रणाम करके अपनी कुंडलिनी चढ़ाकर बंधन लेंगे। We will all now humbly bow down to the holy lotus feet of Shri Mata Ji, raise our kundalini and take bandhan. अब हम सब 3 महामंत्र लेंगे, तत्पश्चात श्री गणेश मंत्र। नाउ वी विल ऑल टेक 3 महामंत्रास एंड देन श्री गणेश मंत्र।
मोक्ष प्रदायिनी साक्षात् श्री गणेश साक्षात् श्री आदि शक्ति माता जी श्री निर्मला देवी नमो नमः।
इसी ध्यान की स्थिति में अब हम श्री माता जी की अमृतवाणी आत्मसात करेंगे। In this meditative state, now we will all listen to Shri Mataji's Amritvani.
I bow to all the seekers of truth. At the very outset, I would like to thank the great artist Savita Devi, who has given us the pleasure of listening to her beautiful exposition of God's blessings and the desire of a seeker like Surdas. I am really thankful to her for setting in mood this program and bringing it to that melodious concord. What Dr. Warren has told you is very true, that susamskaras can be confused with kusamskaras. Actually, anything that is done in extremes is against God. For example, before realization, there is no ascent. There is no evolution of your being, of your awareness. In your human awareness, whatever you have achieved is expressed in your central nervous system. As you know, an animal does not know what is dirt, filth or beauty is. But a human being is aware of that. But the human being has to ascend into a new awareness, into new Chaitana. So whatever has to happen in our awareness. This simple thing people do not understand. And that is why, the reason why people go to extremes in everything is embedded. For example, supposing somebody has said that better take Rama's name. Simple thing like that in our Indian culture. That means you do not take bad names, do not say bad words, say a good word like Shri Rama. But when it comes to taking his name, one has to know that is the holiest of holy. This name is not to be taken frivolously at any time, at any length. Just once, sitting down from your heart, if you have to say Shri Ram is sufficient. But if you go on like that, it becomes mechanical, has no meaning. That means you show no value to that name. Thus, you go to your left side, hankering, oh Rama, when will you meet me? I met one Muslim gentleman in Maharashtra, and he told me that while doing namaz, he thought, why only 5 times, I can do even 10 times. If I have to go to God, I must work hard. So he started doing it 10 times and his knees were completely battered. So he thought, this is not the way to go to God. So he read Gita instead of Quran and all our Indian scriptures, studied Sanskrit, and started giving big lectures about Gita. And he felt that he has started acquiring a kind of a feeling that he himself is Vyasa. So he said, this is no good. It's all falsehood, I should give it up. He was an honest man. So he said, it's better to take to bhakti. So he took those dal and went to, in Maharashtra, you know that we have a Vitthala's Mandir in Pandharpur, where people go for a month, walking on the street singing the song of Vithala, 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 Vithala. So he went with that. And he found out they all were taking a lot of tobacco on their way, and they were all in that, you see, transcendental state going on with Vithala, 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 Vithala. He showed me his fingers. He said, look at my nails, all broken. I didn't find God. I didn't find God there either in Pandharpur. He said, I was so disappointed. I said, what is this? All these methods lead you nowhere. I got so sick after that. So many times I went there. Every time I went there, I was so sick. Those people who went with me were all mad people. I talked to them, they never talked coherently. They were all mad, possessed. I didn't understand what sort of a nonsense going on. So, mother, where was my mistake? I said, who asked you to say Vithala, Vithala like this? He said, Jnaneshwara. I said, he never said so. As far as I know, he never said so. Jnaneshwara never said that you take this dal and go to Pandharpur. He never said so. What made you think that he said that you go on doing all these things? But he said that. I didn't read Ganeshwari to that extent. Whatever I read, people said, oh, you have to read that, it is said in Ganeshwari. I said, you have done so much of reading. You just see clearly. How can they tell you such a nonsensical thing? Anybody who is sensible won't go on telling on like this. And when we were having our own program one day in a Ganeshwar temple which they have erected in Bombay, they said, you can't do meditation. In Marathi they say, Tumi Dindya Gala, means you do that Vithala business. I said, why? Did Jnaneshwara do like that? No, but he was Jnaneshwara. So to become that we have to do it. What an explanation. But did he do it himself? No, but he was born like that. But to achieve him we have to do like that. I said, have you seen anybody who has got anything out of that kind of a working? Have you seen anybody getting any realization or anything by doing Vithala, this madness? They said, none. I said, you bring somebody who has got it. Then if nobody has got it, nobody has done it, Jnaneshwara has not done it, then why are you doing it? It's a kind of a manoranjan, or you can say an escape. Instead of taking wine you are taking the tobacco and you are just going into a trance and escaping life. But the other side of it is the intellectualism. This is one side of bhakti. The other side is that if you read something, then you suddenly become dharmic. Anybody can read anything. By reading something, if you can become dharmic, then it is a very simple thing. There is no need for anybody to do any meditation or anything. Just start reading any book and you become absolutely on top of the world. It is all mental projection. We all can do it. What is so special? This is all mental projection. And this mental projection works to such an extent that whatever we do or whatever we think or whatever we conceive is nothing but mental projection. Take our politics, is all our mental projection. What is your capitalism without any properties in you? Do you have any powers? Nothing. What powers you have got? Only destructive powers, atom bomb, this, that. What powers have you got? Can you convert one flower into a fruit? No, you cannot. You have no living powers. This is capitalism. What about your communism? When you have nothing, what will you distribute? As you can say, if I have all the powers, I am the greatest capitalist. But I can't live with it alone. I have to share it. So I am the greatest communist. But my communism or capitalism is not a mental projection. It is there and it works. It is manifesting. In Sanskrit, karyanvit. So this is what it is. The other side is just mental. So one creates the ego, another creates the superego. Both conditionings done to an extreme create problems in human beings. Because the movement of your attention is either on the left or on the right. And the more you start moving to the left, you first go to the subconscious area, then to the subconscious of this life, then the subconscious of your last lives, then the subconscious of the whole, that is collective subconscious. Right side if you move, you go into your supraconscious, that is future, then you go into your collective supraconscious. Actually, the past is finished, future doesn't exist. Now what is the center is the present. Now even if you say mentally, oh, I am in the present, mother, I've got it. That's not the truth. Accept it. That's not the truth. That's just a mental acceptance, I am such and such. By just accepting I am such and such doesn't prove that you are there. Because it is important that we should accept as we are, instead of escaping into ego or superego. It is very important. If you have to ascend, you must know how far you are. For example, a plane has to ascend. We see how much petrol it has got, whether its machinery is all right or not. In the same way, just find out, where are you? As I told you in the first lecture of mine, that God is what He is, whether you believe it or not. And you cannot conceive Him with your own imagination, with your own mental projections and your own ego. You cannot conceive Him. So best thing is to see for yourself with an open mind what He is. This is first step towards little bit deconditioning. Once you realize that, you must know that no amount of lecturing, reading, or any kind of intellectual exposition or listening to these things are going to take you to your ascent. Only it will give you a pampered ego, an ego that will blind you. Not only that, that will make it impossible for your kundalini to rise. Now let us see what is the arrangement God has made for us. If I say something, you need not believe me, but keep yourself open-minded. God has made a beautiful arrangement within us that when the kundalini rises, she crosses over this center where I have a red spot. This is the window of that center, which is placed in the center of optic chiasma, where it crosses. It's a very subtle center, which controls from the parasympathetic angle the pituitary and the pineal body, who later on control the ego and the superego. I should say the pituitary controls the ego and the pineal body, the superego. Now the one side of the superego is what we call our karma, so-called. Is what we think, oh God, we have made bad karmas, good karmas, punyas, all these ideas. On the other side of the ego is those people who have accumulated by saying that I have done this good, I have done that good, I have been so great, I have been the Lord of the whole world. All these two big balloons in the head of ego and superego are just covering this part of the head, and this is being calcified. You develop your separate I-ness and you become Mr. X, Mr. Y, Mr. Z. Now what does the Kundalini do? As soon as she crosses over this center, she awakens a deity there. Here where the people falter. Because in the concept of an intellectual there is nothing like deity, because he is the deity of deities. How can you think of a deity above him? It's too much. Because he does everything. He can do everything. So there is a deity who is settled down there, who gets awakened. And that is a special deity that sucks in these two institutions within you. By that suction, here a hollow fontanelle bone area or Brahmarandra is created. Once that is done, the Kundalini shoots up. First, of course, it enters into the limbic area in the brain. And then it is sucked in, it opens out, and Kundalini shoots off, and you can feel the cool breeze of the Holy Ghost coming out of your head. This is an actualization which you can see with your eyes, as I told you. But what happens to your awareness is the point. As I've already told you, that realization means your human awareness get transformed into a new awareness. Please come and sit down. It's all right. Into a new awareness. Now, what is that new awareness we are waiting for? What is the new awareness we have to have? The new awareness you jump into is collectively enlightened awareness. Or we can say collective consciousness. This awareness is not a lecture or a branding or any kind of a superficial idea, but is what happens actually to your awareness. As you can see this light, as you can see these flowers, clearly, factually, like that, you start feeling others within yourself. That means you become conscious of others, of their chakras and centers, and you become conscious of your chakras also. That's what Muhammad Sahaba said, that at the time of resurrection your hands will speak. Now these hands start speaking, and when they start speaking, only you need a decoding, somebody to tell you, that's how I am here. Many people have raised a lot of objection about me also, saying that, why you, mother? I said, better be yourself, I am very happy to retire. And if you can do it, I'll be very thankful. This is absurd. Absurd. Because I only know one job, is the awakening of the Kundalini, and I know how to decode it. You know so many things. So what is there to be so much upset about it? I must say it's a very intricate job, very difficult job, and sometimes I feel I am raising mountains. But I know it, how to do it. So that's how I am here, just to tell you how to decode these feelings on your hands. So the first thing that happens to you is that you start feeling the cool breeze on your head when the Kundalini awakens. Now this you cannot do by any chance. Now somebody says that you make your clothes of say some color, then you will meet God. I mean, it's very easy. In India especially, you pay little money, you can get it colored. Why to announce that? Secondly, some people might say, if you jump fast, then you will get to God. I mean, you can always do it. What is so great? I met a gentleman who was putting his both the feet towards me while sitting on the ground. And people said, you can't sit like this towards Mother, you must have some respect. He said, no, I want to show respect, but what to do? If I sit cross-legged, I start jumping like a frog. So I called him, I said, what is it? What's the problem? He said, Mother, I start jumping like a frog. But I said, why? He said, because my Kundalini is awakened, and my Guru says that once you get your Kundalini is awakened, then you start jumping like a frog. And he showed me a book in which it was written. And he is a guru of a very well-known guru who lives, he was now dead, I think, who has made lots of money. People don't know what to do with the diamonds he has collected. So also we do not understand that how can you become a frog now or an earthworm? You have to become a Mahamanav in which you should feel that nobody is the other. You should be able to feel others within yourself. And if this does not happen, how do you take to these artificial things so easily, even when it comes to your ascent in evolution? Now, for example, you take a fish who swims, and you take a tortoise, it crawls. There's a difference between the two. And also in awareness, there's a difference. Because that can feel the water, this can feel the earth. But how can this be auto-hypnosis? Because if it is auto-hypnosis, then how is it that you can cure a person who is in coma, his cancer or any such disease, and bring him to normal? How can it be auto-hypnosis? Warren will tell you that there was a lady who was lying in coma in Australia before my going, and one of the Sir Yoginis who was a homeopath. And ultimately they turned to her and she said, I have only one way, I'll put Mother's photograph under her pillow. And they had decided that this lady is going to die. She has no way of coming out of it. Next day she woke up. And even when she woke up and started a little bit mumbling, the doctor said that her brain will be damaged. She'll be a damaged personality because already her brain was damaged according to them. But nothing. She got all right, and today she's working for Sahaja. So the miraculous part of it doesn't exist for me. But it exists for you because you haven't seen it. You have not known it. You have seen every day so many miraculous things. But you are not surprised. Imagine we are made from amoeba to this stage. How? How carefully, beautifully God has created us. We never even felt the pinch. We became human beings. How did we manage to become human beings? We never even think about it, take it for granted. But what must be the tremendous force that has created you into a human being? That's how we come to logical conclusion to understand that in evolution you have to ascend into your awareness and you develop a new awareness. This happens when this Brahmarandra opens out and the Sahasrara, which is the limbic area, completely opens and allows the Kundalini to come out. Now somebody asked me one more question, that why this happening is needed? Why not God created us just like this? And why is it necessary for Kundalini to be awakened? The reason is the human attention. First of all, you have to evolve. Slowly, slowly, slowly. When you evolve from amoeba to this stage, from carbon to amoeba to this stage, we have got within ourselves. We haven't brought the chart, but you have got it in the book. Different centers which denote our milestones along our progress. The last is now the Sahasrara. At this point, the human beings have got all other centers properly developed. Even the Sahasrara is developed. And what you have to do is to just make the connection with the divine. Now the connecting line also is there, the Kundalini in 3.5 coil, settled in the triangular bone. This connection has to be brought out of your head, which breaks through, and you start feeling this new awareness of collective consciousness. This is how the process takes place. It's a very simple process of just like sprouting the seed. But as you cannot sprout a seed by just dancing about it or singing about it or reading books about it, it has to go to the Mother Earth. In the same way, somebody who has the capacity, who has that love, who has that understanding of the Kundalini has to do the job. And once it is done, it's like one light enlightens another light. The another light has to steady itself first of all, know how to enlighten another light, and start doing it. That's how the work is going to move in the new direction of new awareness, which we call as Chaitanyamaya Chaitana, or enlightened awareness, or vibratory awareness. So these vibrations start flowing through you. Now what is that? You can feel it above, you can feel it round, which you have never felt before. Now this is the collective consciousness into which you have jumped. Your awareness, your being has jumped into a new awareness. This has to happen to most of the human beings. Just like it has happened to fishes, it has happened to turtles, it has happened to pigs. In the same way, this has to happen to the most of the human beings. But I think human beings are the most difficult. Because of these two problems, as told before, that the conditionings about surrendering, or you can say the masochists, and secondly, the sadist, or you can say the ego-oriented or the super-ego-oriented. Now, if somebody wants to control his ego, he goes to super-ego. Like, you see, when we are very ego-oriented, we get so frightened of ourselves that we take to drugs or to wines and all other alcohols because we just can't face ourselves. We have to escape it. We can't sleep, we find it impossible, so we have to take to these things. Now those who are superego people, like we say people who are not yet developed according to the modern ideas, then they become ego-oriented. But the movement is either to the right or to the left, and the swing goes on like this. But the ascent is this way. And this ascent can be only achieved through the living process of Kundalini awakening. About this Kundalini, you might have heard and read a lot. Actually, it shocked me at a very young age when I read some of the books on Kundalini. Said, oh God, now how am I to tell these people? Because of one thing I decided, that I will not write any book till they reach a certain stage of understanding. So I said, now how to neutralize these people who have written such big books on Kundalini without even knowing where it is, whether it is in the nose or in the stomach or in the heart. Absolutely ignorant people have written, you'll be amazed. Because if anybody else in any technique or anything writes, you can get rid of that person, you can pull him to the courts. But as far as God is concerned, right from Napoleon to Hitler, everybody can write. Anybody can talk of God. I mean, most of these fake gurus who talk of God and higher consciousness and all this are all nothing but criminals anti-God, anti-Christ people. But who is going to tell them? Of course they suffer later on, their disciples suffer, everyone suffers, that's a different point. But they never connected with that, to such an extent that some of the people who suffer, I know of a lady who is a guru, all her disciples have suffered from kidney trouble, from heart trouble, from high blood pressures. I mean, a guru if you have, at least he should keep your health all right. And you dare not tell them that this lady was a hocus pocus, not only, but she was a very mysteriously funny woman. If you tell them, they'll be really shooting at you. And they have all these problems within themselves, their families are broken, everything has gone off, but guru is a guru. Whatever he does, he is our guru. We can't leave him at any cost. He might give you one mala to wear, they can't give up that mala. They are sticking on to it. They have achieved nothing. They have not felt their own powers. At least see for yourself, those who have been to those gurus, what have they achieved? We just go so enamored about these things, so much because of the circus they are carrying or the amount of money they have collected that they can project themselves through these medias and all that. The amount of befooling they do is still much more than the stupidity we have, perhaps, so they are still carrying on. They hanker after money, first of all, and we think by giving them money we are purchasing God. So many people believe that God can get money. God doesn't understand money. You must know that he doesn't understand money. He's never seen money all his life. If you ask me, I don't know how to sign a check. You can ask all these trustees how bad I am. I don't know how to sign a check. My husband has been teaching me how to sign a check. I don't know. I can't. My brain doesn't work there. It just goes off. Tried and tried to learn. I can't do it. If somebody has to write for me and then I can sign. But I do not know how to write a check. Because the interest is not there. Such a person, how can he have interest in your purse or in your women or in your properties? How can he have? And this is one thing, one of the worst conditioning we have, that we can pay for God. I can understand ignorant people doing that. In the villages, when I go there, ladies will bring 5p for me. One lady brought a 5p. I said, see, I don't take any money. So she said, all right, should I give you 10p? Because they are so simple, they are so conditioned that they don't understand. But in their simplicity they get their realization. But even the complicated and the intellectuals, you must see the way they get after these horrible gurus who teach them everything that is anti-God, anti-Christ. Absolutely, obviously it is anti-Christ. But when they suffer, when they have problems, we have a lady here who was a very rich lady. She lost all her money. Her husband became a bankrupt. Her children became mad. She became epileptic. Her husband got epilepsy. And when they were absolutely destitute, she took away all her properties, everything. She came to Sahaja Yoga. She's all right now. But her husband, becoming insolvent, had to leave London. And the gentleman now has 6,000 crores of rupees in cash. But nobody thinks about it, from where does this money come? One has to understand that as seekers, we should not sell off our brains. The seekers are all right, but your brain should be intact and you should not give up your brains to understand the whole thing. Logically you must bring to proper understanding. This is one point very much against all the things that are holy, auspicious. But this is on and on for thousands of years. People have been doing this on a smaller scale. Now we have real culprits who are doing in a bigger scale. But nobody is objecting them, nobody is saying anything about them, nobody wants to write about them, because they can pay money. But the seekers must be alert as to understand, what do I want? I want my spirit or this kind of a nonsensical ego pampering that I can purchase my guru. Secondly, in our awareness, we should reach another very, very important, extremely important point, that something has to happen to us so that our power must be manifested. Not to depend on the powers of the guru. I mean, they may say something about me, all right, they may say anything, whatever they like. But why should you believe it till you get that power within yourself? Especially we Indians have a very bad habit of touching everybody's feet. He might be a bad man, a very inauspicious man. He might be the worst possible personality you could think of. You just because he's putting up a show, why should you touch his feet? To be very frank, I really don't like everybody to touch my feet. Because everybody touches my feet. Maybe some people are so bad that I get blisters on my feet. But in the villages, if you tell them don't touch mother's feet, then that is the biggest insult to them. Everybody's feet must you touch. For what? Why to bow this forehead before these horrible people? Once you have not known about them, once you have found out that they are not gurus, still you go on touching their feet. But before you have not found out, there is no rhyme and reason why should you touch their feet. I'll give you an example of a lama. These lamas also are another headaches. One of them went to Sweden and he wrote to them. I mean, in the West, people are very much enamored if somebody comes as a sannyasi. Even in India. Though Sitaji has written very clearly that a sannyasi should not enter into the house of a grahastha. He should stay outside in the forest, away from the village. You may send him some food, that's all. But he is not to talk to any women of the house, and nobody should give any money to a sannyasi. You better read Valmiki Ramayana, where poor thing, I would say, those who have suffered so much, those who have really suffered inside out, all these villagers, they are to be told, this is being already explained, that sannyasi has to stay outside the city. What do we have to do with the sannyasis who are grahasthas? And this is what we have to learn, that all these people who talk of religion, think of religion, and also give us ideas about religion, what is their own lifestyle? How do they live? Are they parasites? They are the worst parasites, I must tell you. Like this Lama the Great who wrote that you must get marble flooring for me, otherwise I won't come to that place. Now imagine in Sweden to have marble flooring. Poor things starved themselves, all these boys, and made a marble flooring for this Lama ji to come. Now they were parasites in Tibet and now they are here. And we are paying them. For what? What good have they done to us? Parasites of the first waters. If they are parasitic, then how can they be gurus?
Mother, excuse me. We have come to learn about Kundalini, not to hear as a dissident spiritual master.
Let him go away. I started the right topic for the right persons to go away. I am very happy. He wants to know about Kundalini, but for knowing about the Kundalini, you must know what you are. If you are coming from these wrong gurus and you are still with them, I cannot do any good to you. I must tell you very frankly, I am your mother and I am not going to tell you something that is not true, whether you like it or not. If you don't want to hear about them, then you better go away. I have nothing to say. But those who are wrong, and those people must be given up, which I must prepare you for such a thing. Because today your vibrations will rise. I know, because of my work, I should say. But it will fall down again. You lose your vibrations completely if you are following a wrong man. Now think of a guru who has made lots of money out of torturing other people, and you are still bowing at his feet. Are you going to receive any blessings of your mother? You have to give up everything that is falsehood. That is the point I am coming to. You have a guru. Why are you so much attached to him? What have you got? You have only paid money to him. And because you have paid money, you feel hurt when I say you cannot pay money to a guru. Doesn't matter. Even if you have paid, doesn't matter. It doesn't matter at all. Whatever mistakes you have committed, it's all right for me. But you must know this is a mistake. You are not to have any more of these conditionings on you. This is an important point which all of you should know. You cannot go on with anti-gods and with God, can you? You cannot serve two masters, can you? So first and foremost thing, for every person who is a seeker, one must know logically that I am my own master and I am my own guru, and I am not going to bow to anyone who doesn't give me my own powers. This is how we have to understand Sahaja Yoga. Sahaja Yoga is going to give you the truth, and not something that is hocus pocus, something that you cannot manage, that you cannot understand. Everything you will know logically. Those who are not seekers of truth and seekers of this kind of subservience to some people, I cannot give them realization. You should be only subservient to God Almighty and to nobody else. I agree that a guru is needed. A guru is needed, but he has to be a Sataguru. There are many Satagurus also, I must tell you. Many Satagurus. I know of so many in Maharashtra itself. And they come and tell me, Mother, all right, you go ahead. They will never like people who are telling them the truth. They like people who tell them lies, falsehood, who befool them, that kind of people they like. They all come with complaints. And they tell me that we have nothing to do with this seeker so far, as you are working, but after some years, maybe we may come down. I sent one person to America like that, and I told him we work it out. He's a very dynamic man, no doubt. He came back after 3 days. After 3 days he came back from America. He said, oh, you think the seekers are seeking God? No. They are seeking a guru who will be bought by dollars. He was amazed. He said, these are not seekers at all. And he ran away from America, from New York, by the first plane he got after 3 days. Now, this is one of the biggest things that you all should know. If you are doing a wrong guru, if you are living with a wrong guru, we have to tell you, and you should not mind it. Yesterday only, I had 2 ladies and 1 child. And the lady had a problem, the other lady had a problem, and the child couldn't speak, her throat was choked. And when you are testing another person, you can make it out. Any Sahaja Yogi will make out the same thing when you are catching on the left Swadhisthana and left Agya. When the left Swadhisthana and left Agya starts pulsating or burning, then you should know the person has been to an unauthorized guru. We call it anadhikar cheshta. They have no business to be gurus. And if such a guru has been their guru, then the Kundalini doesn't move. It doesn't move. It just settles down there. And even if it moves, it is again sucked back. Again sucked back to the same point. Now you want your guru or your realization is the main point. What's the use of quarreling with me? I can't give you realization. Simple thing as that, for which you are not to pay anything, nothing of the kind. I am not going to gain anything out of you. Take it for granted. Perhaps, as they will tell you, that my husband had shelled out a lot of money from his own purse to do this job. So I am not going to gain anything out of you. Only for your gain, for your good, I am telling you that if you are still connected with that, your Kundalini won't rise. So that is the left Swadhisthana and the left Agya. But you would not know till you will become mad, till something will go wrong with you. Absolutely, you will be schizophrenic, you will not know. You will be ego-oriented. You will not know. How will you know? Because you haven't got your realization. Unless and until you have got your realization, you cannot feel others, you cannot feel yourself. There's no light. And when there is no light, whatever you believe into or whatever you think, if it is not correct, I have to tell you what is the reason is. And one of the biggest reason is following a wrong guru. Take it from me. The gentleman has gone. I wish I had warned him what can happen by following wrong gurus. Cancer is the disease which always occurs with going to the wrong gurus. One of the diseases. All psychosomatic, mellitus, what you call that? I mean, there's so many of the leukemia, all kinds of madness. All these things come from following a wrong guru. When you put your head to a wrong guru, what happens in your being is that from both the sides, this void of the guru gets up, swollen up here, and you get a swelling which we call as Ekadasha Rudra. These are 11 Rudras, are the destructive powers of God which go against you. So your destruction is set in within yourself. When it is set in within yourself, you must know that there is a serious trouble that is being happening either to your body or to your mind. This Ekadasha Rudra comes by touching the feet of a wrong person all the time. This we can prove it to you. This we can prove it to you very clearly that these things happen. And we have to warn you of such happenings which cannot be explained by any medical science. You cannot explain by any medical science why these things have happened and why people get these things. There are so many other diseases. Parkinson's disease, all mental problems, all possessions, everything can come to you if you follow wrong guru. One of the biggest things, you become vulnerable to it. Now, I'll give you a medical explanation of the whole thing. It is very easy to get angry with me, but actually you are getting angry with yourself. You want to destroy yourself. By pleading for any guru or by sticking on to anyone, what are you going to gain? I'm your mother. I'm just telling you that stick to the truth. Get to the truth. And first and foremost thing, you must get your own powers manifested. Without that, if you live with falsehood, you are going to fail very badly, and the times are such that the destruction is so expedited that you can't imagine to what extent it can move. We have definitely cured cancer, no doubt about it. So many patients of cancers were cured, but that doesn't mean I'm going to cure all the sick people. It means that you get yourself your realization, you can cure them. But that's not the main point, is curing. But it just happens as a byproduct that you get cured. The biggest problem of our country is that we are conditioned in two ways. First of all, we are conditioned by blind faiths in so many things, in superstitions, in feeling what is the caste and community, in believing that this is our fate, we have to suffer. And worse than that is so many people, so many gurus, you see, when they make their disciples suffer, they give an explanation saying that you have to suffer for your realization. This is another very great falsehood. Now the deity that we have here is the deity which is the incarnation of Shri Ganesha. At this point, he came as Mahavishnu, who is Lord Jesus Christ. You can see Mahavishnu's descriptions, which we never read, tallies exactly with that of Christ. And it is his power which sucks in. We say he died for our sins. He sucks in our ego and superego, and that's how we are cleared out. He has suffered sufficiently for us. We don't have to suffer anymore. He has said that I suffer for them. No more sufferings are needed if you get your Christ awakened. But the Christianity as it exists today, they believe again in another kind of artificiality as we believe, that if you just put somebody artificially puts the hand on the head of a person and says you are baptized, you are baptized. If you pay few rupees to the church, you are baptized now. Baptism is nothing but the raising of the kundalini and breaking of your sahasrara. And when that deity is awakened within you, it sucks in. And that deity is the deity who has suffered. We'll see further in the history, the Jews never accepted Christ. They wouldn't accept because they can't believe that he suffered from them. They didn't want to believe. So they said we must suffer. So they suffered and suffered and suffered. So Mr. Hitler came down to make them really suffer. And now they are so changed that now they have become the aggressive people. Why don't they suffer now? Has Christ come, or has their Savior has come that they have changed their ways? So those people who ask for sufferings will get sufferings. There is no need for you to suffer at all, I assure you. We have another very funny custom is to go on fast in India. As it is, because of this desire, many people in this country are fasting automatically. So everybody says we must fast in the name of God. I just don't understand. What is the need to fast in the name of God? You can fast if you want to, that's a different thing. For example, we had one gentleman called Mr. Agnihotri. He was a very well-known gentleman from Pune. His name actually is Rajwade, but they have given him Ahita Agnihotri because they used to have lots of these yajnas, and that's how this gentleman became very well-known. Then he came to Sahajoga, and one day he came to see me in Bombay. He was a great Ganesha Bhakta. And he said, Mother, doctors are saying I've got prostate gland trouble and I don't know what to do, should I operate? I said, you have got prostate gland, I can't understand because it is looked after by Shri Ganesh. And you are such a Shri Ganesh Bhakta, I can't understand. All right, you better have my prasad. And I give chana as the prasad. So he looked at the chana, he said, today I can't. And another fellow said, today is Sankashti, is the birth date of Shri Ganesha. I said, you fast on Shri Ganesha's birth date? He says, yes. I said, will you fast when you have a child? On the birth date of your child? Why should you fast on the date when he is born, the great son of Shiva? What is the logic behind it? He said, you have been doing something wrong, but use the logic. Why should you fast on such a date? You may write to him and find out. I told him, today it's my order, you eat this chana. He being my very obedient son, he ate it. He's about, I think, 84 or so. When he went back to Pune, the doctor said, your prostate is cured. The Ganesha got prasanna. Imagine how many times we are trying to disturb, even to displease the Ganas and the gods and the deities within ourselves. Same way on Guruvar to fast, on Mangalvar to fast about for Shri Ganesha or for Hanumana. Imagine that day to fast when he was born on that day. Hanumana will be so angry with you that you don't know what sorts of problems you'll face. Hanumana is one of the very kadak ones. And be careful about it. Don't start doing things because some Brahmin has told you to fast. They want you to fast and give all the money to them. Fasting also has a big science. Mantra has a big science. Everything has a science, which you must see when the vibrations are flowing and see for yourself what is good and what is bad. Just don't accept because somebody tells you. All such conditionings are with us, or just don't understand how people accept them blindfolded. This blindness has really been a big barrier for us in Sahaja.
अब हम सब श्री माता जी की आरती के लिए खड़े होंगे. नाउ विल ऑल स्टैंड फॉर श्री माता जी's आरती.
सबको दुआ देना माँ, सबको दुआ देना। जय निर्मल माता जी, जय निर्मल माता जी, दिल में सदा रहना माँ, सबको दुआ देना, सबको दुआ देना। भी पहचाना, माँ सबको दुआ देना, सबको दुआ देना, माँ सबको दुआ देना। जय निर्मल माता जी, जय निर्मल माता जी, दिल में सदा रहना, माँ सबको दुआ देना। संत जनों की धरती है भारत माता, माँ है भारत माता। इस धरती पर आकर, इस धरती पर आकर दुख से दूर करना, माँ सबको दुआ देना, सबको दुआ देना, माँ सबको दुआ देना। जय निर्मल माता जी, जय निर्मल माता जी, दिल में सदा रहना, माँ सबको दुआ देना। जब दिल में आए तब मधुर संगीत सुन लो, माँ मधुर संगीत सुन लो। होए सके जो सेवा, होए सके जो सेवा, हमसे करा लेना, माँ सबको दुआ देना, सबको दुआ देना, माँ सबको दुआ देना। जय निर्मल माता जी, जय निर्मल माता जी, दिल में निर्मला देव्यै नमो नमः। ॐ त्वमेव साक्षात् श्री कलकी साक्षात्
श्री माता जी, आज के इस सुंदर ध्यान के लिए हम सब आपको हृदय से प्रणाम करते हैं माँ। Mother, we all humbly bow down to your holy lotus feet for today's beautiful meditation. Jai Shri Mata Ji.